Did you learn to skate on a sticky wheel like a 78 or 80 and then decided to buy a slightly harder wheel like a 90 plus and then found that you couldn't stand up? There is a technique to dealing with a slippy wheel and I'm going to show you how. One of the main skills that shows up the difference between a hard wheel and a soft wheel is the T-push, because you rely on this back leg. And in a nice soft wheel, you can rely on that back leg. It will be there. No problem. Wherever I put my weight on that skate, I know I can rely on it to stay still in a soft wheel. But when I do this in a harder wheel, it's all about the technique and how I transfer my weight, because I can't rely on that foot to not slip out from underneath me. So let me show you how I would deal with a slippy wheel in a T-push. So I'm now in my super slippy wheels. Now these are crazy slippy. I don't know what they are. It says they're a 57D. But they're not. They're really old and they've sort of hardened and they are just so slippy. So if you can control these, you can control anything. So basically what you have to do is your technique begins to matter. In a sticky wheel, you can get away with a lot because it's just going to stay there. But in a slippy wheel, your technique and your weight has to be really perfect. So I'm going to get a lot lower here, because in a soft wheel, I can get power from that. But in this, I have to be low because I can't get the very top of my power. So I can do push, 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 push. But when I get to here, and I've got less contact with the ground, I can't push as much. So I have to get more push from this lower end where I'm nice and low. You have to push into the ground. And this is a weird thing to say, but you almost have to push down through your skate into the ground. And thinking like this gives you that little bit more of an anchor. So I'm going to really bend. I'm going to put my weight as hard as I can on these two inner wheels. And I'm going to push myself away. Now, do you see how I almost spring off of that foot? Because I can't do this full here because it starts to slip at that very last bit. So you have to really focus your weight down into those two wheels. So I'm pushing right down really hard to anchor them to the floor as hard as I can. So I'm pushing down and I'm pushing myself away. So this is one of those things that when you're practicing it, what's going to happen a lot of the time is this. And it just means you haven't got quite enough weight pushed down. So you've got to get really low and over your skate here. Another one that can be pretty terrifying on slippy wheels is cornering, because you find yourself sliding out. So let's talk about how to control that. So I'm now in my slippy wheel for corners. Now, the thing with a slippy wheel on a corner is if you don't actively control it, it just feels scary, because I'm going to do some speed and I'm literally just, I feel like I'm out of control, like I'm going to hit the chairs. It's just because I'm moving outwards from where I'm sort of intending to skate because of the speed and the pull on the corner. So what I actually do is I control the speed and the slip. I hit a stagger and this foot is actually going to do a slight plough stop position. And that is almost going to brake me slightly, which is going to anchor me. So let me show you that. So I'm going fast around my corner and I'm just going to apply the brake, and then I feel like I'm in control. And I'm not out of control, I'm controlling my circle. I'm coming round, I've got a nice wide base, and I'm in charge of my skates. They're going to go where I want them to rather than where they want to go. So the key to this is to keep low and over your skate. So when I say over your skate, I'm sort of knee over toe, but you need to have your weight central, because if your body is too far in or it's too far out, your wheels are going to slip out from under you because they want to slip. So you have to be much more precise with your movements. So let's do it one more time. So I'm really, really low here and I'm just going to use my little plough foot. Now you can hear this plough foot slipping. So I'm not really braking hard. It's just enough because you can hear that slip. And with a slippy wheel, It will just slip, but it will give you that little bit of confidence and control. The same applies on one foot, but it's actually slightly more extreme. So again, your technique is going to really, really matter. You have to keep over your skate, knee over toe, very balanced here. It's so important because if I'm doing an edge, I'm going to lean into that edge. Now, if my weight is slightly off, it's very easy for the skate to slip out. So it's very important that you keep knee over toe and low. But the most amazing thing about slippy wheels is they want to spin and turn. So if you're having trouble with, say, for instance, something like a open book turn, you have to do your toe manual. But if you're in a slippy wheel, you can slip round and it's much, much easier. If you're having trouble with these sorts of turns, a 3-turn, for instance, it will just slip. It's so much easier because I don't have to put more weight to the ball of my foot and lift those back truck wheels off the ground because they're sticky. I can just float round, and spins are just so easy. You just spin for days. So it has lots of advantages, but there are these disadvantages with the pushing. So if you work on that, it will be absolutely worth it. So when you're learning, a sticky wheel can be much more forgiving, but a slippy wheel can be so much fun. True, but only if you've got good technique. I'm Katie, you've been watching Skatie, and we'll see you next time. Bye!